Man, welcome back to the Cruise Dynasty podcast. Back at it again, doing what we do, talking fantasy football, the fake stuff, transitioning to that redraft. But, you know, me and the craft, man, you know, we always like to bring in a little dynasty too. We bring in a little gambling too. We're going to bring it all tonight with the AFC South breakdown. Craft, man, what's going on, big dog?
What's going on, everybody? I'm just excited about this episode. I've been excited all damn day to get on the mic with you guys and talk some fantasy, because usually what I do at work is just call people who want to talk fantasy football, and then I just spend hours upon hours talking fantasy, and then I get on the podcast and get it recorded by old Craig over there. So we got Slim Easy in the building. What's going on?
Yo, yo, yo. It's your boy, the Potty Pooper, back in town, the RB Whisperer, going down. We talking some divisions here. We on the AFC South, I believe. I'm excited about this, dude. It's been a good night. Like Austin said, this is what we do on a regular basis. And we're on here. And leave us some likes so we can start doing this in a room with a bunch of cool stuff. And you can see our beautiful faces. But without further ado, I'm going to pass it back to the Cruise main honcho, Daddy Diglett, El Patrino. Fucking take it, man. What we doing, bro? Tell the people what we're doing.
Yeah. AFC South tonight. AFC South. I felt like I was about to say some stuff, and then I got to laugh, and I forgot what the hell I was about to say. Oh, yeah. All right, so here we are, man. It's just basically we're going to break it down, and I'll admit I'm a few down. We say this on the podcast, and if you read the description, hey, crack you a cold one, roll you something up, go mow the lawn, and turn on the Cruise Dynasty podcast. Is one of them kind of nights for us. I ain't drank on the pod in a while, to be honest with you, so I done cracked me up some P. Millers, and I'm about to roll with it. AFC South? What do you say, crap, man? All right, real quick, 5-star review. Tell a friend about the podcast, and if you want to play fantasy with us, hit us up. We'll do some best ball, some redraft. Me and Craft Man will set you up, you know,
and
put
this
you
just
in a league.
If you share one of our podcasts on your social media account and you tag me or Austin in it, Austin will chug a beer on the podcast.
He gonna do that anyway.
That's what I was saying. I've already done that tonight, but I will. No, you talking shot? No, I don't like to do the shotgun. I do the funnel.
Blast it, bro.
Got to do the funnel.
It's for the fans. Well, we'll see. Somebody's got to do it anyways.
Maybe I get Dakota to do it. I maybe get the wife out here to shotgun. She'd probably do it better than me anyway.
Ooh. Oh yeah, but we're not doing video. Anyways, let's get on. Let's get off of this. What are we talking about?
Man, let's get up in it. AFC South. AFC South. Houston favorites plus 100, followed by Jacksonville plus 275. Then the Colts plus 325, and then Tennessee plus 900. So really, three of them that are for season-long divisional standings. Three of them that they're pretty close. Like, and the reason I say that is because plus 325 it's pretty close for a division standing. But if it was like a fight, you know what I'm saying? I look at
that's
325. That's a big underdog. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying, Craft Man? That's the reason why I said what I said.
That's my bet too. Is on the Colts to win the division. I mean, that would be my bet. Is that the Colts take that division? So,
all right. Well, shoot. Let's start with them then. The Colts.
You are crazy.
Actually,
what are you drinking?
Shoot.
Anyway,
I mean, listen. Me and Craft Man, I will say we've been pretty critical of Anthony Richardson, Colts.
It ain't about
I'm
Richardson.
not saying that I'm like just like 100% warmed up to him. Like I believe that, but I will say this: I like Michael Pittman, and I've picked him in best ball a couple times. And Anthony Richardson, I just made an offer for Anthony Richardson just yesterday. It was declined.
And my argument isn't against the Colts; it's for the Texans. I mean, come on. I mean, look at this team, dude, and they're all fired up. They're Demario Davis, one of my favorite coaches, new coaches. I mean, they rallied last year. I think it's gonna be a dogfight to take that division from them. I think they make it deep into the playoffs. Honestly, they might make
You
it to a
know,
wild card. It is going to be a good division, and those Colts have been good. They just haven't quite put all the pieces together. And I think we were talking about it last year. Like this might be the year. I mean, we'll see.
well,
But
I'll be honest. As a gambler, I do like what Craftman said. I would put my money on the Colts as a gambler.
that would be a good
Um,
bet. Yeah.
plus 325. That's where the money is at. And I do want to say this: plus 100 for Houston. That's still not bad. I mean, I would still put some money on there if you really think Houston's going to do that. Go get you some money. Go put some money on that.
Go
Colts,
get you some money.
right?
Go
Colts.
get you some money.
What you call it? Colts though. Anthony Richardson, year 2, he was hurt, so he missed a year. We got Jonathan Taylor. I've had critical things to say about Jonathan Taylor, but I have said I'm taking my chance on him this year. I don't want to miss out on him, but if he gets hurt this year, I mean, that's 3 years in a row something crazy has happened with JT. Pittman, A.D. Mitchell drafted. What was that? High second round, Craftman? High second round?
I think it was third round.
Third
Brady
round?
Mitchell, yeah.
And then we got Josh Downs, who always second year in a row. I've seen a little hype about Josh Downs. People love Josh Downs. I haven't shared Josh Downs, and I'm not excited about Josh Downs, not one damn bit, Craft man. Uh, but with that said, I'm with you. I would put my money as a gambler. I'm gonna debate. I mean, I don't know if Houston's really just gonna run away with it and just be the best, or if Jacksonville, I do like Jacksonville more than others, but the value is with Indy. But yeah, I'm with you. I think the Colts will probably be pretty good this year. I think Anthony Richardson will probably be pretty good this year.
Yeah.
I gotta
He'll be-
say something right here. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but y'all put me on A.D. Mitchell. I was sleeping on him. I just kind of looked him up, and I mean, he actually went the 20th pick in the second round. I mean,
Okay.
went to a good team. He's 6'2", 205. You know, I think he could be. Yeah, I think he could be a good sleeper pick that you can get for nothing, man. People are probably going to be just fighting for him in the first couple of weeks, maybe. But I saw that Joe Flacco's the backup there, so you got good ability, I guess you could say. Like backup quarterback could still perform. So I think they're a sneaky team, man. They're always in the hunt, but we'll see. We'll see.
They was running it with Gardner Minshew last year. It had success. They were out there winning games. This year, I just feel like a lot of read option. A lot of quick slants. That's how I feel it. I've always just doubted, can Anthony Richardson hit those quick slants, shoop, shoop, shoop. Is he hitting them? You know what I'm saying? Then maybe people like Josh Downs, A.D. Mitchell will be good. I don't know. I don't really like Alex Pierce. I don't really, but I mean, not to say Anthony Richardson don't have you know what? I don't know, man. You just got to choose yourself. And I'm just on the line. I just can't really decide if I buy in or am I just really out. Am I really going to keep doubting him, Craft man? I don't know, man. I mean, I want to say I kind of believe in him.
I'll go ahead and say this because I'm hard-headed and stubborn as shit, is that I think Anthony Richardson is great for fantasy, but I do not think that I don't think that he's going to be a great NFL quarterback still. So
Justin Fields type deal.
Yeah, like a Justin Fields type deal is what I think about Anthony Richardson. People are super hyped about, what he did in a 4-game stretch last year. And he really did show out. But the one thing that I will say is different between Anthony Richardson and Justin Fields is Shane Steichen and that offense that he ran in Philadelphia with Jalen Hurts. And I think the head coach is going to make it work with Anthony Richardson. So, a little bit higher than Justin Fields as like a prospect going forward in Dynasty. But as far as the receivers go, we were talking about Alec Pierce and like A.D. Mitchell filling his spot. Alec Pierce ran the most routes in the NFL last season.
Yep.
You talking about somebody who was on the field all the time. He had a couple games, 100% snap percentage. That's quarterback numbers. You don't even see CeeDee Lamb and Amon-Ra and people like that out there. So if AD Mitchell does take his spot, I do think that AD Mitchell will be on the field a lot. It's just going to depend on if his talent is there or not. And we just got to talk about one position at a time. So Matt, what you want to hit on first? You want to hit on Jonathan Taylor? You want to talk about the receivers a little bit?
Let's go, JT. He's the man. He's going in like your top of your second rounds of at least best ball. Listen, man, I've had critical things to say about JT, and I've actually taken a step back and said, this is exactly where, when I first started doing this podcast, I didn't even know what the fuck I was doing. Christian McCaffrey and Saquon Barkley both had years, back-to-back years where they were hurt, and I was saying, dude, man, I don't even want these guys. That's crazy to say.
Remember them days. Them were sad days, man. I remember them days, bro.
So, Jonathan Taylor is at that point in his career right here, this year, today. This dude needs to perform this year. Because if he goes another year where something happens, then I'm going to lose faith in Jonathan Taylor. That'll be 3 years in a row of non-production. And then he'll just look like
I agree,
a blip.
I think Jonathan Taylor has been.
Oh, we lost him. We lost Owen again.
So you catch what I'm saying though, Craftman? JT, I'm not saying I've even taken him high in best ball in the high second rounds. I've taken him myself. Like, I'm good with JT. I'm gonna take my shot and I ain't gonna mess it up. But I'm just saying, man, as a dynasty owner, you gotta kind of feel a certain type of way. I know if you're going for it, you got Jonathan Taylor and you're going for it, but you still gotta kind of feel some type of way. His value's still high right now. You know what I'm saying, Craftman? It's high today. If he gets hurt, it's nothing.
Yeah, I'm definitely with you on that. Where it's like this is his year to prove it, to see if he's like one of the top tier running backs in the league. Because that one breakout year was incredible. But I still, like I said in the last episode, I don't want to judge these guys on injury history as long as it's not a torn ACL or a torn Achilles for a running back. And looking back at like Zach Moss last season, he played. Anthony Richardson played from week 1 to week 5 before he was out. Zach Moss last season had 18 points, 21 points, 9 points, and 32 points in them games where Anthony Richardson was the quarterback. So I do think Anthony Richardson is gonna steal some goal line work. There's no doubt about it. He had 4 rushing touchdowns in 4 games, or maybe even 5. So he was right on pace with like Jalen Hurts and Josh Allen as being like that goal line vulture for your running back. But Zach Moss was able to produce with Anthony Richardson on the field. And I think that Jonathan Taylor is going to be able to do the same thing. So I think he is definitely worth the ADP that he's at. But I don't think with the lack of with Anthony Richardson still in goal line work and the lack of receptions that he's going to get, that he could finish as like a top 2 or 3 guy. But I think he's definitely safe where he's going right now. I don't think he's going to finish any lower than that if he stays healthy. So I'm all in on Jonathan Taylor, but I'm not drafting him thinking that he's going to be, going to override Christian McCaffrey or Bijan or somebody like that. What do you think about that, Ian?
Yeah, man, I think you're pretty solid on there. But while you were talking, I kind of, in my mind, his role right now is very similar to Derrick Henry. I think it's kind of a good comparison because they're both older backs. I mean, Derrick Henry's on a new team, but they both have both.
Derrick Henry's way older than Jonathan Taylor, man.
Well, I'm just saying. No. I know you're right. But Derrick Henry's outlier. I mean, most running backs have a 4-year lifespan, and Jonathan Taylor is getting close to that. Either way, I mean, they got mobile quarterbacks, they got good teams, and I think Jonathan Taylor, I think he has everything set up to perform. I mean, when he was playing, he balled out. I mean, he got 30 snaps and he got 30 carries and got you 26 points in week 18. I mean, we always throw it out, but he always finishes in the top 15 when he plays a decent amount of snaps. And I
He was
think
solid as hell.
I think he's set up, and I think Richardson kind of opens it up for him, makes it a little easier. You know, they can't stack the box. They got to have a spy on him. And I mean, I think getting Jonathan Taylor towards the back of the first round or getting to the second round, I'm not sure where he's going. I think that's a good running back, but yeah, I mean, it's still a little sketchy, just like with D Henry, but we'll see.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't like
Go
to
ahead,
talk about the
Craftman.
injury, but that's really the only thing that's holding JT back, honestly.
Yeah, I just wanted to point out with JT that from week 7 on in half PPR, he never went under double digits. So he scored 10 or more points every single week in the games that he played from week 7 for the rest of the season when he wasn't injured. So I think like it just reiterates the fact that I think he's going to be a very safe running back this season that's going to put up, RB1 numbers.
Yeah.
You're safe.
How we feel about before we move on, wide receiver room? Michael Pittman, AD Mitchell. People really liked AD Mitchell coming out. The fantasy people liked AD Mitchell. Big bodied guy. His main criticism was I don't even know what the hell he was doing. He just wasn't even running plays and shit. Sometimes, like, I don't know, but AD Mitchell, Michael Pittman, I think he's going in the middle of the 3rd round. I think that's where I'm getting Pittman in best ball right now, if I'm correct. Somewhere in the 3rd round, something like that. What you think about him, Kraft, man? I really see it as just Michael Pittman and then maybe AD Mitchell.
Yeah.
But I see it as like a one-man thing. I don't really see Anthony Richardson supporting 2 receivers, to be honest. But we'll see how it
Yeah.
is.
I think AD Mitchell's more of a best ball play because, like I mentioned, with Alec Pierce being out there, obviously Shane Steichen likes to run 11 personnel with 3 receivers on the field, and I think if AD Mitchell wins the job over Alec Pierce, which I expect to happen, because how can you run that many routes and have that little production, unless you're just a great run blocker, but. I like AD Mitchell as a best ball bet because I know he's going to be on the field if he wins the job. And the way they run that offense, I think there's going to be a couple deep shots taken. And I think Anthony Richardson got the arm and the threat of the running game to open up receivers down the field like that. So AD Mitchell's really one of my highest exposures in best ball right now.
Yeah.
But as far as Michael Pittman goes, he played 4 games with Anthony Richardson at the start of the year, had 19 points first game, 10 points, 12 points. He was pretty solid. He was a little bit better with Gardner Minshew later, but he's definitely the number 1, and I think he belongs in that tier that he's in. But that tier that's that tier that I was talking about. It's just a massive tier.
Yeah, like Craftman, I got Pittman right here, wide receiver 21. He's going behind Waddle, DJ Moore, Malik Neighbors. I would take Pittman over Malik Neighbors, but look, he's going ahead of DK, Cooper Kupp, Devontae Smith. I would take all 3 of them over Michael Pittman. I think.
Yeah, I would too, and that's what I'm saying is like when you're in that tier of receivers, there's like 15 guys in that tier, and that's why it's hard when you're picking at the early in the if you pick at the 101 or 102. You got to take, if you're going to go receiver heavy, you got to take, 2 of these guys or one of these guys. When you know that you take Michael Pittman there, somebody ends up with Jalen Waddle or Cooper Kupp or DJ Moore. So I personally don't like being at the front unless you can get, McCaffrey or something like that.
All day. Yeah, man. I mean, we talked about all the receivers that play for the Colts except for Josh Downs, man. What's our thoughts on Josh Downs? I'm looking at some of his stats and looks like when he gets the targets, he does pretty good with them. He's up and down all over the place. He's a second year
He had a
receiver.
4-game stretch that was pretty good.
Yeah, I mean he's only 5'9", 171. He had
He's a
he had
small
a
guy.
few. He had 12, 10, 21, 10 in 4 games, and you know I think he might be a solid sneaky guy back there. He might be somebody we're picking up. I'm not sure if that height is gonna hurt him. I don't know what
He definitely
his
has a little fan base, no doubt about it. Like a fantasy
Yeah.
yeah, man.
football fan base.
He's the wide
We're not
receiver
in it.
46.
Yeah, we're not in it, but I mean, it just depends on what you think Anthony Richardson's gonna be like. Is he gonna be like this all-time great passing and rushing? Is he gonna be Josh Allen? Well, then fuck. I mean, I like Josh Downs too.
He's gonna be Anthony Richardson, and he's gonna be. I mean,
Yeah.
he's so young right now. I mean, he's already gotten injured, but there's no telling. But I do think he's gonna be talked about. He stays healthy, just like with everybody. I think he has the ability, and he's so young. I feel like he could be molded to an offense, and I feel like they're really trying to build it around him, and already had a lot of pieces in place. And I honestly feel like all the receivers on this team are kind of overlooked a little bit, and I think it's because of that obscurity, because of that mystery of who the quarterback is going to be, and if Anthony Richardson's going to be that guy, because everybody agreed, when he was coming out of college, he had amazing talent, but he was going to need some training. It wasn't all there. But I mean, you don't make it that far off of just sheer luck. I mean, they obviously saw something in him, and the boy knows how to win, and he's got talent around him. So I think they're going to be fighting for the top spot again there. But
Yeah.
I don't know, man. But Josh Downs, I think is a sneaky person maybe you could pick up way down in the draft, and I don't know, he might could do something, especially in Dynasty.
Yeah, I'm totally out on Josh Downs. Like I said about Anthony Richardson, I think that his career will last longer than say Justin Fields because of the offense that he's in and the organization that he's in. Just a better place to be than like a Justin Fields. But with Josh Downs, I'm with Matt totally. We've said this a million times. I don't think he can support two guys. I think Michael Pittman is going to be.
We might be talking 3 if we're talking Josh Downs.
Yeah, if AD Mitchell ends up panning out, like I see, I would rather have Demario Douglas than Josh Downs. Josh Downs is so far, he's so far down my list that.
Okay, and that's what I was asking because he wasn't on my list either. Like I totally forgot about him until I just.
When can you play him? Is the main thing. Like when can you play him?
Listen, crap, man, I was sneaking him in. I was sneaking him in for a stretch, and he was holding me up. And then he eventually wasn't holding me up.
Yeah, I think if he shows out in the first couple games, might be a good little grab and stash, and if he starts to have some consistency, I mean, I think he averaged 7 PPR points, half PPR points a game, which is not terrible. I mean, a little guy you could throw in on a bye week or something, but
with Gardner Minshew,
and that was with Minshew. So Anthony Richardson is, in my opinion, got a way better arm. We'll see about the accuracy, but I think it's going to be an altogether better offense.
All right. Well, look, I think we spent enough time on the Colts. Let's get up into this Houston action right here. They're the favorites. Stephon Diggs just pulled up to the crib. Pulled to Houston, and they're running stack. They're getting CJ Stroud set up. And man, I just want to know. I just want to tell y'all, I've heard a lot of things about Houston this year. I've heard Stephon's still going to be good. Nico, I've heard about Nico. People love Nico. Craftman, I told him on the phone the other day. I heard somebody. I'm gonna start, Craftman. You know what? When we start hearing stuff on podcasts, we need to start writing it down and shouting it out. I need to be able to say where I be hearing this stuff. But I heard a guy say Tank Dell after this season, we're going to be viewing him as like an Antonio Brown, like a top 5 guy. He said they're not going to be able to cover Tank Dell like they'll be able to cover someone like when they got to worry about Stephon and Nico.
Exactly.
They got to worry about other things. We're
Yep.
going to be viewing Tank Dell something different. CJ Stroud, he's going as like quarterback. I don't even know. I've seen him high as 4 or something in best
Yeah, I was about to say
ball.
like
I
4 or
think
5.
a little too rich for me. Me and Kraft, man, was in a motherfucking startup together, the Cruise Dynasty Podcast team #1, and CJ Stroud went 101. So the hype is on him. What do we think about it, Kraft, man? Houston? Are they just going to run away with this division? What did you think?
Yeah, I want to talk about the team first because I think the team in general is going to be outstanding. I think they're going to be a great team. But I'm not as high on Tank Dell as that guy you were talking about, but I still got Tank Dell in Dynasty as my number 1 receiver for that team over Nico, over Stephon Diggs. But I will say that I think Diggs finishes last this season, and I think it's in between Nico and Tank Dell in redraft this year. I think Diggs he's a new guy on the block. CJ Stroud wanted Tank Dell when he got drafted. I think they got extreme chemistry together, and same thing with Nico. So I think all these guys are going to be really good this season, and I think the team's going to be great. But CJ Stroud, I haven't drafted him one time, unfortunately, because I like the Texans. I'm cheering for them. I even got a Tank Dell jersey, that I won last year in redraft. So, nothing against the team, but the ADP is just a little too high. I mean, CJ Stroud had a great season last year. Jordan Love had a great season last year. Why is CJ Stroud going, 10, 8 spots ahead of Jordan Love as a fantasy QB? I just think you're spending a little bit too much when you can wait a little while on like a Kyler or a Joe Burrow or Jordan Love or something like that.
Yeah, there's
On
not enough of that
sleeper.
gap in points where you got to spend to get him in the draft. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Also,
it's
Stroud-
is that different for the capital you got to pay for Stroud. But that's a good, yeah.
he's not a rushing guy either. So,
Yeah, I view him as like a Joe Burrow type. Stack team in the pocket. He's gonna have some great years and he's gonna have some down years. He had a
Yeah.
great year last year. That's how I view CJ Stroud. Somewhere in there. And sleeper, he's going as a QB5, so Lamar Jackson's ahead of him. And I agree with that. I would take Lamar over CJ Stroud and
Bro,
redraft 1 year.
if y'all had to guess, where would you rank the Texans' offensive line? I know where it's at. I have the list in front of me. But
Is it a
I'm
top
just
half?
wondering.
is it this year or was it last year? Because I know last
This
year
is the
their whole entire
2024. This is after the draft.
okay, they're probably in the top 10.
Pick a number.
8.
What you got?
I'm gonna say
Matty
10.
boy? Austin hit the nail on the head, dude. Top 8. They got the number 8 offensive line. That
Number
is a
8.
good
So they
start.
up there.
There, top half. I mean, that's not elite, but better than the rest. And yeah, I think the main reason CJ Stroud is hyped more than J Love is probably the age difference, maybe, and the newness of him. Because I mean, you got a point, but when it comes to dynasty,
Just because he's a rookie and
Yeah, his price is just overvalued.
exactly,
would
I
tear down
totally
from his
agree.
ass
Like,
right
I
now.
can't argue. Yeah, I love him. I got him in my dynasty team. Thankfully, I drafted him last year. They just gave him to me. They were like, "Here, Ian, do you want the best quarterback in the dynasty league?" I was like, "Well, I guess if you're pulling my in redraft, yeah, I don't want to go up and get him. I mean, I'm looking at Brock Purdy. I'm targeting Brock Purdy type shit. You know what I mean? So
Right.
yeah, it's hard to spend that much capital and lose out on somebody like Pacheco or like even like a Deontay Johnson. You know,
Well,
but
I'll ask Matt now since you got the ADPs pulled up. You got the ADPs ready?
For sure.
So all the receivers are going pretty high. Do you agree with all their ADPs? And what I'm saying is, if you do agree with all their ADPs, if they finish where they're getting drafted, shouldn't CJ Stroud be like the number one QB? Because
Yeah.
I don't see a lot of guys and a lot of QBs with that many receivers going that high. I mean, you talk about like the Dolphins.
Right.
You got Tyreek going as like the 102. You got Jalen Waddle going in the second or third round, but you don't have Tua even close to CJ Stroud. It's not even remotely close. You got Jordan Love way down there, and the Packers ADPs are pretty low. So I just want to know: do you think if we're not high on CJ Stroud, should we be this high on all their receivers this season?
Well,
If they're
you know
gonna,
me.
do that.
I've already said it straight up how I feel about these guys, and listen, we took Nico in a startup draft, and I'm happy with it to this day. I'm happy with it for sure. For this year, all of them are capped. I think they're all capped this year, man.
And Austin, when did we ever say we weren't high on CJ Stroud? We just said we didn't want to pay to draft him.
No, I was just asking Matt like where the ADPs are for the receivers, because if they return that ADP,
Yeah, I
CJ
mean,
Stroud is worth that
all right.
pick.
But look,
Yeah.
Nico, wide receiver 14. Man, no, man, because I just can't do it. I mean, I'm looking at a whole little tier back here I would take over. And it's Stephon Diggs, wide receiver 17.
I
Can't
mean,
do it,
dude,
bro. I can't do
dude, in the
it.
past,
That's what I'm saying.
And hold on, I
everybody's
got one
sleeping
more
on
thing to
Stephon
say.
Diggs, man.
I got
Everyone
one
got
more thing to
Stephon.
say real quick, Ian. Tank Dell's going as the wide receiver 26 right now. Even if you're not even high on him and you think his ceiling's capped, he's going behind Zay. He's sitting right here in this tier with DK, Cooper Kupp, Michael Pittman, Tank Dell. He's going right
And
where I would take him.
yeah, and I feel like the receivers are overplayed. Everybody except for Stephon. I mean, I feel like Tank
Yeah.
Dell and Romeo Dobbs will probably have about the same production. To get Romeo. I mean, Tank Dell might have a little more, but I mean, I think Stephon Diggs being there is. I think Stephon's going to be the man. I think he's going to produce. I think he's going to ball out. I mean, it's 2020. I mean, he finished number 3 in 27.49.
It's a different team, man.
He plays every game. It doesn't matter. He's
4 years ago.
It's a different team with a different age. Like this
With a
man's like
better-
32 years old right
with a
now,
better
playing with
quarterback-
two
a
young
quarterback,
studs.
like Matt just said, is a pocket passer, whereas Josh Allen will pick up and run the ball. I mean, I could imagine there's multiple times where Stephon is wide open and Josh Allen just takes off and uses his legs and turns into a dump truck. Whereas CJ Stroud is going to see him and he's going to utilize Stephon Diggs better than Josh Allen could. I
Look,
think it's
crap,
the best
man.
landing place for him.
I'm
Disagree.
not saying I don't.
Totally.
I'm not. I may not be all the way on the same page on it, but I do think Stephon Diggs has his value where he's a veteran on my dynasty team. Where I wouldn't mind having him as if he was like, oh man, I could get Stephon as my 4th receiver type deal. Like when you said something the other day about Devontae Adams and trading with David, and I was like, you should just go get Stephon Diggs if they're both veterans like that. I do think Stephon
And you
will
can
be
get
better than
Stephon
Devontae
cheap
Adams.
right now because I didn't mean to interrupt, but Stephan's
Nah,
cheap
go ahead.
right now. Everybody's kind of on the same wavelength y'all are, and it's hard, to know what is going to happen there. He has been in the league 9 years. I mean, he's 30 years old, but he doesn't really miss any games. I mean, he always finishes it really high. I mean, he finished 22nd in 2019, but top 10 every year since then. And I know it's a different quarterback, but I mean, we're picking Josh Allen. I think he's still number 1, but CJ Stroud is right there with him. I think CJ can pepper this dude, especially with Nico and Tank Dell clearing the field out for him. I don't think he's going to be the deep threat that he was, but I mean, I feel like he can. I feel like he's going to finish good, way better than everybody's thinking, and I think he'd be a good pick down there a little bit later. And
He crazy as fuck, dude.
like you said, I mean, if we're high on CJ Stroud, why are we not high? It's just like Stephon Diggs has. I mean, he's compared to Devontae Adams and Mike Evans and Keenan Allen. I mean, we were high on him a couple years ago,
Yeah.
but just because he gets in the media and he talks all this shit and he's blah blah blah. I mean, Antonio Brown did that shit. A lot of receivers do this, but I think he's gonna go out there and perform. I think he's got something to prove this year, and I think he's ready to ball
Say
out.
what you got to say, Kraft man.
I don't even know where to start because I disagree with both of y'all at the same time. It's hard to like pick which one I want to go at first. But Devontae Adams, you gonna take Stephon Diggs over Devontae Adams, the
See,
wide receiver 10, the wide
I didn't
receiver
say
10
that.
last year with
see, come on,
175 targets with the
Stephon
same
Diggs was the
quarterback.
wide receiver 9 last year.
It's a bottom 10 offense. I don't want no
Stephon
motherfuckers
Diggs is on a
that team.
different team with two other guys that are getting drafted ahead of him, or at least one other guy that's getting drafted ahead of him.
I
It's
understand
just,
that, and I'm not saying he's on the same level. I'm not comparing him directly to Devontae Adams, but I'm comparing him, putting him in that tier, like a weathered veteran,
I am.
and has proven time and time again that they can perform. And I mean, I understand he's with Josh Allen, but I think CJ Stroud is just as good at throwing the ball. And I mean, I get where you're coming from, but at the same time, he stays healthy and he gets 100 targets. I think he'll fucking be fine.
I give 100% guarantee that Stephon Diggs is not finished as a wide receiver 1 on the Texans.
No, I don't agree with that. I mean, you know how I'm just with. I would take Tank Dell.
I'm out. I'm out on Diggs.
I think, yeah, I agree with that.
I'm
because
out on him in redraft, but in Dynasty,
got-
there's a role for him.
I mean, he's got more chemistry with the other receivers, but I think Stephon's going to be better than everybody think he's going to be. I mean, we'll see.
Shit, everybody thinks he's going to be the wide receiver 17.
No, I wouldn't do it. Hell no. Get that
I'm
shit
out.
out.
I'm out. I'm out.
All
on
right,
Yeah.
who we got
I mean,
up there?
he's going pretty high, but
He's going high. I mean, there's so many receivers I would take over Stephon in redraft. I don't even want to sniff that shit. All
Is
right,
it
let's
Cooper Kupp or Diggs?
man, don't even ask, man. Let's just move on, man. Ain't nobody
Diggs.
taking Stephon Diggs over Cup.
He's going ahead of Cooper Kupp. He's going ahead of DK Metcalf. Devontae Smith,
That
Amari
shit's
Cooper.
crazy. I don't know. I feel like there's got to be some. Let's wait till we get a little more closer to that
Well-
redraft here. That ADP gonna switch up a little bit. Ain't no way that stays the same.
But I'll say where I take Diggs at. I think I would take Diggs around. So the ADP I'm looking at, which is Yahoo ADP at this is. Well, let me get over here to half PPR scoring. So Diggs is going at wide receiver 22, around Devontae Smith, Amari Cooper. I would take T. Higgins over Diggs. I would take Amari Cooper. Amari Cooper, T. Higgins, both them guys over Diggs. I don't know. It's just I ain't got very
wide receiver ADP.
yeah.
I'm
I just
also
ain't
looking at it.
I just ain't high on Diggs, man.
And I
Yeah, I
understand that.
mean,
I understand
you know how
that,
it
but
is.
there is an argument that he's got the talent, and I mean, he's got the team around him to compete for the top spot. I'm
So
just
who-
saying he can't be ousted. Though.
So we got Joe Mixon running the rock. I know y'all love Joe Mixon up. Y'all motherfuckers over there just love you some Joe Mixon. Damian Pierce, my guy, still in the building. And some Cam Akers, yeah, Cam Akers up in the building. I saw that one, crap man. I don't know if you seen
I've
that
seen
one.
that.
My
I've seen
God.
that too.
Hey, in the home league, I went and picked
Thank
them up,
you.
and I put a little message right under where I added them. I said, I had to go get my guy.
Go get Joe Mixon.
Everybody knows I love me some Cam Akers. All right, Joe Mixon, man. Yeah, listen, man. What do you think, Kraft, man? He got on a 3-year deal. I pretty much feel like you got saved as a dynasty manager if you had Joe Mixon. I thought it was over with. Next thing you know, bam, 3 years on a team that's on the rise. I mean, Joe Mixon's going to be pretty good. No doubt about it. So, Kraft, man, go ahead.
You can just copy and paste what he did with the Bengals and just move it over to the Texans. I mean, but same type of quarterback. They're gunslingers who don't like to check it down a lot, but they're in the middle of the pack of checking it down to running backs. And the main thing is, who do you got behind them? You got Damian Pierce. I don't think he's stealing any goal line carries. I heard on a podcast today, I think it was BDGE, the Bengals had 21 goal line carries last season. The Texans had 21 goal line carries last season. Exactly the same. I don't think you should view Joe Mixon any different than you would if he was with the Bengals. Not the most efficient back, a lot of goal line opportunity, and middle of the pack in reception. So I think he belongs there in that, mid RB2 range, around that RB 15, 16, which is, where he's going. I really don't have a problem with his ADP. I'm not reaching for him, but I'm also, if he drops, I'm taking him.
No doubt. Well, look, let's just move on, man. We done talked Houston. We done talked Indy. Let's go to Jacksonville. With my guy T. Law. They had Brian Thomas Jr. Zay Jones out of the building. Christian Kirk is still up in there, recovering from a busted testicle.
What? For real?
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't remember if that was true or not. Gabe Davis in the building, and you're still running it with ETN. I know ETN gets a lot of criticism, but I love me some ETN. And what's that guy's name back there? Tank Davis or something like that. What's his name? Something like that.
Tank something, man. I forget his name. We forget about him.
Listen, man. I think everybody knows. Listen, this is where I've always stood with Trevor Lawrence. Listen, I just think fantasy wise, he's gonna be good. I've always said he don't have that dog in him in real football. I've always said it because I've always said when Clemson won the championship, they blew everybody out by 30. Everybody. He never really had to be clutch. I've never really seen him had to, go out there. I do think I'll say I underestimate him a little bit. I do think he's tougher than what people thought. He definitely played hurt last year. There's no doubt about it. And he was out there playing a lot. And I think he may have only missed one game.
And he was badass at the end of the season.
Yeah. So I you know how I feel about Trevor Lawrence. I think fantasy wise he'll be good. I still want to get me some Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah,
I don't think they're gonna win the division though. I don't think they'll win the division personally. And
I agree.
I do think Brian Thomas Jr. will be pretty good with Jacksonville. And kind of got me buying into it a little bit. And I think Gabe Davis. The thing is with Gabe Davis is I would say this is perfect for him to be with Trevor Lawrence. But I would have said the same exact thing for Josh Allen. You know what I'm saying? Like throwing it deep. I would have said the same exact thing. So I don't know. Evan Ingram, you already know where I stand. He's in that pocket in best ball where he's like the 8-9 where that Jake Ferg and then you like in that Njoku, you like to add him in that tier. He's in that little tier right there. I love Evan Ingram. I mean, that's a tight end that can give you double-digit targets sometimes.
Yeah.
So, Craftman, what you think about the Jacksonville Jaguars? They'll be better this next year. That's all I'm going to say. They'll be better.
Yeah, I know I've heard a lot of, different podcasts saying that, Evan Ingram was a lot better when Christian Kirk was off the field, which is true. He did average a lot more points per game when Christian Kirk was gone. But also, they're not putting in the fact that Calvin Ridley is gone. That's 139 targets that is vacated. So I think when you look at Evan Ingram, I think he's going to be. I'm only invested in Christian Kirk and Evan Ingram in the passing game outside of best ball.
I got a Brian Thomas in a best ball. I got at least a couple.
Yeah, in best ball, Brian Thomas, Gabe Davis. I like both of them in best ball, but as far as your redraft goes, I'm high on Christian Kirk. I think he's going to be, he's going to be needed in that offense. He's going to be the number one target for Trevor Lawrence, and then Evan Ingram's going to come in second. So if you're just looking for opportunity and targets and receptions, I think them two are your guys. And if you want to take a chance on Brian Thomas Jr. later, that's, your prerogative. That's really not where I'm trying to be with my late round shots and redraft. But best ball is a different story. What do you think about it, Ian? What do you think about this receiving core?
Yeah, dude. I think it's solid, man. I think it's I think it's a little on the iffy side. I really like Christian Kirk here, and Evan Ingram's a great tight end. It kind of reminds me of how Baltimore is. Like the tight end is kind of the wide receiver one, like Kansas City, and then you got some good pieces around that. And I agree with Matt. I think Trevor Lawrence is pretty tough. I think he's tougher than he comes off as. Um, he's right. He didn't lose, and I feel like he has taken that hard. But if he is going to be the player everybody thinks he is, he's got to get over that, or he's going to end up like
It's
fucking Deshaun Watson.
man, it's like this though. The people already out here coming out here saying this man is a bust. Crazy, bro. Crazy.
Yep. But they got
Especially to
weapons
even
around him.
pass judgment this soon. Because
It
this
is.
man went to Jacksonville. This man, it's not like what Caleb Williams is going to. This man, Trevor Lawrence, for real, is going to a shitty situation. I like what Jacksonville did paying him right now. Go ahead and pay him. What did I say? What was it? Weren't we on an episode with somebody and I said he's gonna get paid?
I mean, if the Giants are
soon
going
and-
to pay fucking Daniel Jones, I feel like Trevor Lawrence is way better than that.
Oh yeah, big time.
I don't think that was. And Travis Etienne, I mean, he balled out last year. That's actually somebody I've been debating, because in the league where I pick at the 5 spot, I've really been getting one of those top receivers like Tyreek or Jamar or JJ. And coming back, Etienne is usually the best running back left, man. And I don't like picking players on subpar teams, much less bad teams. I mean, they got the 21st ranked offensive line, but the boy balled out, man. And
ETN is going as the RB8.
he's going up there. It's up like Derrick Henry, Josh Jacobs, Devon Achan's right there. And I'd like to get. I mean, it's the same. You really don't want to take any risk in the first round. You want to get as safe as you can. In the second round too. And I feel like he's a pretty safe play. I mean, he's been good. He's been in the league 3 years now. He's kind of coming to his own, but it's still scary. I mean, according to Sleeper, they got the 13th ranked offense, rushing yards 24th, rushing attempts 17th, rushing touchdowns is 9th. So they're not terrible, but I think at the end of the day, I usually end up getting ETN. But I don't know. It's kind of risky. What do y'all think, man? Would you rather
like
have ETN over HN or Henry?
Well, see, my thing is with ETN is there's that potential with ETN that he has that upside that he's going to be the workhorse. Like I feel like he has that top 3-4 upside that a lot of these players might not have.
Oh, most definitely. I mean, I think he finished number 2 in Dynasty at least.
Yeah, he was up there. I mean, he had a good year and he faded off in the back half of the year. I just think that happens with running backs. You know what I'm saying? That happens. They have stretches where they're good and have stretches where they're bad. Sometimes ETN back half of the year just wasn't that good. So
it's weird that it coincided with Trevor Lawrence being great and Travis Etienne falling off at the same time. Where it was, when Christian Kirk went out, Trevor Lawrence got better. And ETN got worse, which it should have been, kind of the opposite. But, yeah, I'm fine with ETN right there. I think he belongs in the conversation with Derrick Henry and Pacheco. It's just, pick your poison. But, I mean, as far as receiving goes, he's one of the top 3 down backs that you're going to get with nobody in the depth chart really scaring you off. What are you going to do? Put Tank Bigsby in on 3rd downs? When Travis Etienne's a incredible pass catching back, if anything, if they do find somebody that can, give him a breather every now and again, it'll be on 1st and 2nd down, just to, like I said, just give him a breather because he's the main guy there. He's going to continue being the main guy, and they're. Ian said subpar team. I think they're just dead average. They're not a great team. They're not a good team.
Yep. But if they had a better, if they had a better team and a above average offensive line, I think he would be a shoe in for one of your top backs, and he's got the stats. I mean, he gives you your boom games, and he's got a pretty solid floor. But I just think it's mainly, that core that's holding him back. I mean, Trevor Lawrence is on the ground most of the time, and
Yeah.
it's hard to play with confidence and conviction when.
Well, Travis Etienne or Kyron.
I think I lean ETN personally. I don't know though. I just took Kyron over ETN the other day for sure. So
We're definitely gonna have to
not
figure this shit out with the.
I'm not low on
next year.
Kyron by any means, though. I do think Kyron still got that, that role. Listen, the Jacksonville Jaguars, they just need to view what they have with Trevor Lawrence, and they need to put all their chips in a bucket and be like, we would be lucky if we got one Super Bowl. Let's just hope we could get on a run, and maybe one day we can win one Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying? Like, maybe
and they were
things
so
click that
close.
year.
They
And
were
you
so
keep
close.
Trevor Lawrence there for 10 years, and you just hope one year it all clicks. Yeah, that's all I would be sitting there asking for if I was Jacksonville. I kind of feel like that as a motherfucking Falcons fan. Bum city.
No shit.
With the way we are, if I could just see one championship before I die, just one, Kraft, man. Probably ain't going to. Probably not.
Probably not.
Dude, they said
But
Atlanta
it'll
is
be
the worst city to be a sports fan in because they do good enough to give you enough hope to feel like they're gonna
I
make
know.
it, and then they just crush your
Phoenix gonna be
dreams.
that guy for me, man. All right,
I
let's
agree.
move on, man.
Let's do it.
Let's move on. What we got Tennessee left, Kraft, man?
Yeah, we got Tennessee left. I want to ask you one more question about Brian Thomas, though. As far as like a deep dive receiver that you're drafting, Brian Thomas, would you rather have? These are the guys he's going around exactly. So
I'm gonna go, Kraft. I'm sorry to interrupt, but is he going? He's going around Lad McConkey, JSN, something like that.
He's going around them, but the main guys I want to focus on is young guys that are like breakout candidates. So Xavier Worthy, Brian Thomas, Keon Coleman, Jamison Williams. Which guy are you taking out of the top of that group?
I can't deny it's Brian Thomas for me.
What do you think, Ian?
I don't feel the same way about Xavier Worthy as T. Swizzy does. You know what I mean?
Give me the lineup again.
Xavier Worthy, Keon Coleman, Brian Thomas, or Jamison Williams. If you're going to take a shot on like a breakout guy. And I think this is the worst time for Ian to freeze.
Oh, man, did he? I didn't even notice I got my head down.
yeah. I thought you froze too for a second, but Ian done froze up as soon as I asked the question.
I do hear Ian again now. But look, go ahead. What's the word, Kraft, man? Say what
I don't know what's going on. But no, I was saying, throw that lineup at me again. Who?
All right, the young guys: Xavier Worthy, Keon Coleman, Brian Thomas, or Jamison Williams.
Keon Coleman, because he went to a really good situation. I don't know a lot about him. I think Xavier Worthy is going to be pretty good, but there's a lot of mouths to feed there. Don't know a lot about Brian Thomas. Where did he went to?
LSU.
No, what team is he playing? NFL?
Jacksonville. So obviously he ain't got Brian Thompson in the mix.
Yeah, he don't know who's playing for.
I don't even know him.
So put him out. Take him on out. Was Lad McConkey one of your choices?
No, Lad McConkey wasn't, but I'll take Christian Watson over all of them. And then I'll take Jamison.
Man, you have some motherfucking mind.
And then I'll take Jamison. Let's go, baby. It's Jamison Williams season. It's Jamison season.
That last best ball I did, I told myself it was coming down to it. I said if Lad McConkey's there, I'm going to take Lad McConkey because I don't have any. It came down to it. Literally, the top three were Lad McConkey, Brian Thomas, and JSN. I think deep down, I took Lad McConkey. Like I said, I stayed true. But I think deep down, I might would have went with JSN right there out of them three.
Yes,
I think you made the right choice.
I mean, that's a good.
Of course, you Georgia Bulldog motherfuckers will think I made the right choice.
Not even. I mean, not even. It's kind of the same situation with like Laporta last year. Detroit had a really good tight end, got rid of him, drafted this guy. Did that for a reason, bought out. I mean, same situation there. I mean, they had a badass, got rid of him, new guy. They obviously see something in him.
Yeah.
All
I
right.
mean, the reason I ask that question is because you always stare that down in best ball. It's always like,
It is. I agree.
which rookie breakout are you gonna take right here? And I didn't even put Ladd in there because he's obviously way ahead of them guys.
I've taken a couple Brian Thomas Juniors and one Lad and maybe a couple JSNs up in there.
I take Jameson every time. I'm like,
Zero
Jameson.
Jameson, zero Xavier Worthies. I mean, they ain't even on my radar. I ain't even smelling them motherfuckers. All right, let's move on, man. Tennessee,
Right.
Titans, Will Levis. They building it around him, man. Will Levis, man, had that 4 touchdown game last year against my Atlanta Falcons. D Hop, Calvin Ridley's in the building now. Tony Pollard's in the building with Tajay Spears. I know I'm probably old Chig up in the building. So really the crux of it all is it looks like Will Levis is they're building. I'm not gonna say building around Will Levis, but they're about to at least see what they got in Will Levis. They put some veterans around him. You know, Craftman, I hate to bring up the most mainstream podcast, but the footballers. Oh, Andy seems to be fine with Tennessee. You know what I'm saying? Gunslinger, Will Levis. And he seems to be fine with Calvin Ridley. My thing is I feel like I'm more fine with D Hop than I would be Calvin Ridley. I don't really know. I'm not really that high on Calvin Ridley. Will Levis, I've taken him at best ball a couple times. I mean, it's not a bad value, and he could, like, we all recognize that the guy could be a starter one day, and he could do it. We're just not Will Levis guys. I've never been a Will Levis guy. I still think he's ass. Sucks. Big booty. This team is trash. Dead last. And but here's what I will want to say.
Fucking gaslighting.
I don't mind Tajay Spears. He's about the main guy I'd want. I don't really want none of them, personally. I like D Hop in the passing game the best. That's all I can say.
The value's there. I mean, if you want to take a shot on the offense, like the value is definitely there. I mean, D Hop, where you got him in ADP, I got him as wide receiver 38. This is Yahoo half point PPR, and Calvin Ridley's is at wide receiver 35. But, like you said, Matt, we're not Will Levis guys. I mean, Daniel Jones has been in the league for a while. I'm sorry to switch from Will Levis to Daniel Jones, but I feel like they're somewhat similar. And Daniel Jones, all his receivers never perform year after year after year. He ain't necessarily had DeAndre Hopkins. I do think that as far as their ADP goes, I don't see a problem taking them where they're going. But my
real
thing,
quick, man, on Sleeper, it's got D Hop as wide receiver 43. It's got Calvin Ridley as wide receiver 30 right now.
Yeah, so they're even lower. They're even lower on Sleeper. So I'm even more in on that a little bit. But the one guy that I want to mention that I haven't been in on at all, but I can definitely see it panning out and him being a value is Tony Pollard. Me personally, I think Tony Pollard and Tajay Spears are going to split a lot of work. But I could definitely see a case where Tony Pollard, he came off that massive injury. I think he broke his, fibula or something the year before with Dallas. And then he comes back with Tennessee and he's a great running back again. And he wins the job outright. Tajay Spears keeps his same role that he had with Derrick Henry last season. And if you're gonna give the goal line work to somebody, it's probably gonna be Tony Pollard. So
look, Kraft man, this is how I feel about that team, and I want Ian to go, but real quick, Ian, I want to throw this in. Tajay Spears is going as the wide receiver 36, and Tony Pollard is going as the wide receiver 25. So, Ian, I'm gonna say this to you right here, and I'm gonna toss it up to you. You're the running back guy. I don't really feel the way Craftman feels about Tony Pollard right there. Here's how I see it. I don't want to draft Tony Pollard at running back 25. when I could take Tajay Spears at running back 36, because I feel like their split's going to be pretty even, kind of, and I feel like Tajay may have more juice than Tony. Tony's a little bit older. Tajay's young and upcoming. You know what I'm saying? Cheaper and redraft this year, cheaper. I don't have to pay. So that's where I feel about it. I feel like it's going to be pretty much a split. They're both going to catch the ball out the backfield. That they do some of the same things. They're both going to split what they do. So I just think Tajay might have a little more juice. Younger stud. I know he's got the ACL tears in his younger days, but
yeah, no, I mean, I'm with you on that. I would rather target Tajay just because I agree. I think it's going to be more of a committee. Tony Pollard didn't really prove he could be the guy last year. I mean, all the opportunity and it didn't pan out. This is his chance to redeem himself. And I feel like he's fighting to keep his job, whereas Tajay Spears is fighting for the job. And I feel like the hungriest dog runs fastest, and I think that's going to be Tajay. And I mean, I also agree with Austin in the fact that Tony Pollard has the upside to be still in your draft. I mean, he could. I don't know. Tony Pollard last year killed it for me. He looked so good running behind Zeke, and when he had the opportunities, he capitalized on them. But this is his redemption. But yeah, I'm with you on that, Matt. I'd rather go down and get Tajay a little bit later, man. And this is a pretty good team. They're going to be competing. I mean, they got a young quarterback, but they got Nuke in there, and there ain't no telling. I think they're probably going to be worse than the division. It's pretty difficult now, but any given Sunday, dude, you can win a Super Bowl and drive off in a Hyundai.
Yeah, you never know. Craftman, anything? I was just saying Tajay Spears. He's going as RB 36. Tony Pollard's going as RB 25, and I feel like they're going to see pretty much an equal split. So I would rather take Tajay Spears, and he possibly could have more juice. He's younger. He's a lot cheaper. That's where I stand on that one.
Yeah, I mean, I have been drafting a little bit more Tajay Spears than Tony Pollard. I don't think I have Tony Pollard at all, but I was just making the case that I could see Tony Pollard being a lot better than as advertised because, the Titans like to run the football, and Derrick Henry, as great as he is, he was at the down part of his career last season and still finished really high. So if Tony Pollard can, recreate that just a little bit, and if Tajay just keeps his same role, I could see Tony Pollard being a solid RB2. But I'm not predicting that. I could just, I could see it. I just don't predict it.
That's pretty much all I got for Tennessee. Where I stand, that's where I stand with the running backs, wide receiver wise. I like D-Hop a little bit better than any of them, but, at least that Tennessee's just putting guys around them and just seeing what they got. You know what I'm saying?
Drafts, I've been getting D-Hop in like the 8th round, bro.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind a little D-Hop. I have not drafted any Tennessee Titans. I don't even think Tajay. Will Levis. I mean, he's like QB 24 or 26 or something right now in best ball or something. I got him 1 or 2 times, maybe.
Yeah, I think if you just want to kind of sleep on a QB and stream them, which I've done a few times, and you usually end up finding somebody who you keep, but I think he's a sneaky good, like, 0 QB type deal.
Yeah. Streaming when it comes redraft time. He might get to that range right there, maybe.
But I definitely feel like they're the least put together team in that division right now.
So they won't rebuild. They're kind of just sticking to their guns and trying to keep competing when I think might be time to. They gave Calvin Ridley that big contract. They gave Tony Pollard a good contract. Like, Yeah. They might should have went a different direction.
Well, look, Kraft, man, I go like this. I think realistically the division goes Texans, Colts, Jags, Titans. I'm going to put my money on the Colts because of the value gambling-wise. That's where I stand today, middle of the summer, June 25th or whatever the month we in. I don't even know what month we in. July? July 25th. That's where we stand. What you think, Kraft, man?
I'm gonna go with the Texans, the Colts, the Titans, the Jaguars finishing last.
Ian?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with Matt, man. I think Texans, Colts, Jags, Titans. I mean, it's hard to deny. I mean, they're gonna have to show me something. I mean, also got a point with the Jags and the Titans. You go either way, but I feel like Jacksonville's way more put together. But
Yeah.
we'll see. But I definitely think Houston and Indianapolis have the top spots locked down.
Well, shoot, man. That gives us the AFC South right there. I say we wrap it on up like that. And one night, we drop the, what do we do? North and South tonight?
Yep, North and the
next time we
South.
hop on and finish up that AFC next time we hop on. Crabman, anything to say to the folks out there?
Man, I'm good. Just like I always say, appreciate everybody for listening. All our listeners that's been here with us from day one. We love y'all, appreciate y'all, and stick with us. And we got some good stuff coming. Football starts in a month? We got preseason games coming up soon.
Serious? Oh man, I can't believe it. Ian, anything to say to the folks out there?
Yeah, man. I mean, we enjoy doing this. I think this is a lot of fun. We break down pretty good. We know what we're doing. We got a lot of wins between us all. And take our advice or lose. I mean, that's all it comes down to. I mean, it's the Cruise Dynasty podcast. I mean, we were rated #1 podcast in the United States.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
Don't go look it up, but that's from all our fans giving us the 5-star reviews and all the views. And share us on your social media.
Yep. Well, we do. I echo everything y'all said. Craftman said, yep, we appreciate y'all listening. But with that said, we out.
Peace.
Peace.